Honestly, this isn't even about whether you're pro-choice or pro-life. I just do not like bad arguments. And the arguments that are coming from the left right now are absolutely bonkers.
Do any of you men have any eggs or the possibility of carrying a fetus? How dare you talk about what a fetus wants? You have no idea.
Thanks, Whoopi, for proving that even idiots are capable of understanding basic biology.
What Candace Owens achieved was unexpected. People, you won't believe how this turned out, and it just got hotter. Whoopi Goldberg is used to verbally assaulting individuals and is well known for her sharp opinions on The View. But this time, she was up against Candace Owens. To put it plainly, she wasn't ready for what was about to happen. A conversation on abortion rights and racism quickly turned into a sobering reality check. Finally, Whoopi struggled to keep her composure and was unable to speak. So what did Candace say that completely weakened Whoopi's argument? It's going to be explosive, so listen carefully. Tension was already high when the subject of abortion rights was raised. A strong advocate for women's reproductive rights, Whoopi was certain that men shouldn't be involved.
Do any of you men have any eggs or the possibility of carrying a fetus? How dare you talk about what a fetus wants?
What did she want to convey? That if a woman will never get pregnant, men shouldn't influence her decisions.
My problem comes when you tell me what I need to do with my doctor and my family. How dare you? How dare you?
Cheers broke out from the crowd. Whoopi leaned back, her arms folded, a little satisfied smile starting to form on her face. She knew she had a compelling case. She found it simple. If you weren't medically capable of becoming pregnant, you had no business making decisions about being pregnant. But Candace Owens was not impressed. After giving Whoopi a quick glance and adjusting her microphone, she responded calmly.
Did you guys know back at home, by the way, that in 2017, Whoopi Goldberg received a GLAAD Media Award for executively producing a show called Strut? It was a transgendered modeling show. She won the award for speaking up for trans rights and against those trying to roll them back. Oopsies! This is why I love intersectionality.
It was quiet in the room. Whoopi was going to respond, but Candace wasn't finished. She continued.
Here we are in the middle of a vicious culture war where a bunch of men playing dress up and trying to convince people that they are women and can give birth and they can chest feed. And here comes along Whoopi Goldberg, and she's so fired up about abortion that she accidentally tells the truth. Only women can give birth. Only women have a womb that is capable of carrying a child. They say, never get in the way of our enemies when they are making a mistake. They also say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. I say, thanks, Whoopi, for proving that even idiots are capable of understanding basic biology.
She had not expected any resistance. By drawing attention to what she saw as a glaring double standard in media portrayals of race, Candace Owens intensified the already contentious debate. She brought up a recent opinion post that argued the world would be a better place without white males, an opinion mostly ignored or even praised in progressive circles. However, she then issued a challenge that sent shivers through the room. Candace made it clear that if the identical piece had been written about black men instead, there would have been an immediate and harsh reaction. There would be public condemnation, protests, and a full-scale call for accountability. So what was unusual about this? The moment those words sunk in, the atmosphere in the studio shifted. The crowd, which had been reacting to every conversation, fell into a restless silence. Some of Whoopi's co-hosts, who had previously nodded in agreement with her, now showed signs of embarrassment. However, Whoopi had no plans to compromise. She objected, saying the two situations were not comparable. But the rationale was weak. It was the kind of argument that required mental gymnastics, an attempt to justify something that was essentially incompatible with the egalitarian principles she claimed to endorse. And that's what Candace exposed. She pushed the conversation in a way that Whoopi and many others weren't prepared for by highlighting the disparity. This path necessitated a direct confrontation with discrimination and selective outrage. As the discussion continued, Whoopi's frustration became evident. She crossed her arms, shook her head, and adjusted her glasses. She was clearly uncomfortable with Candace's remarks and the unavoidable truth that accompanied them. For the first time in a long time, she had no response. As the debate heated up, Whoopi tried to shift the topic and backed up her claim with historical context. She used Ruby Bridges, one of the first Black children to integrate an all-white school, to support her argument that racism was still a major problem in America. The audience nodded and whispered in agreement. It was an effort to put Candace on the defensive and change the subject. If Candace downplayed the importance of history, it would be seen as disrespectful. If she acknowledged it but was unable to respond effectively, Whoopi might regain control of the discussion. But Candace was not fooled. Instead of dismissing history, she embraced it, praising Ruby Bridges' bravery while steering the conversation back to the realities of the present. Despite the fact that racism has always existed, she pointed out the uncomfortable reality that today's media seems more focused on creating new villains than on achieving true equality. The room shifted again. The atmosphere, which had formerly been supportive of Whoopi, now seemed uncertain. The fact that modern social justice organizations continued to use the same kind of group-based blame they had previously condemned was hard to ignore. Whoopi could see the realization setting in. Her usual confidence wavered, and her posture slouched slightly as she absorbed the weight of the argument. She attempted to interrupt but was unable to make a strong case. It was an unexpected turn. Whoopi had the advantage at the start of the conversation, but by the end, Candace had completely flipped the debate on its head. Not by shouting at her opponent, but by pointing out an inconsistency that was hard to ignore. In addition to ending on The View, the dispute caused a frenzy on the internet. Within hours, recordings of Candace Owens' takedown went viral on social media, dominating Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Online, Candace's supporters commended her courage. Some said she had exposed the duplicity of the mainstream media and wasn't afraid to challenge the narrative. It was summed up in a single tweet. Whoopi was unable to bounce back when Candace questioned her on national television, something no one else would dare to do. Others chimed in, praising Candace for avoiding the emotional exaggeration often used to stifle opposing viewpoints. However, Whoopi's supporters wouldn't take it lightly. Furious fans rushed to her defense, accusing Candace of deliberately turning the discussion into a performance. One frustrated Twitter user claimed Candace was only playing to her supporters. Whoopi was trying to have a serious conversation, but Candace turned it into a show. Debates erupted across social media, with heated discussions taking place in the comment sections of popular videos. Contributions from news outlets, political analysts, and influencers only intensified the conflict. Candace Owens had dominated the conversation, leaving Whoopi Goldberg stunned. As the internet dissected every moment, Whoopi retreated to her dressing room, reflecting on the exchange. Meanwhile, Candace reignited the debate, ensuring her message remained in the spotlight. Supporters praised her boldness, while critics saw it as provocation rather than discourse. The clash became a cultural flashpoint, fueling discussions on racism, media bias, and ideological divides. Regardless of perspective, one thing was clear. Whoopi, usually the one in control, had just been handed a reality check. So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.